Okay, I actually got it to start. Finally. Alright, let's go. So, as you can see from the title of this video, this is how do you play chess. Now, there's here, and there's checkers over there. But we're just doing chess. Because I'm chess. And you probably want to know how to play chess. Now, I suck at chess, but I know the rules. I suck at chess, but I love chess. I literally posted a video on me playing chess. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. But this is how to play a game of chess. Now, you won't win like this. You can figure out a way to win. I'm just going to show you how the pieces work and how to set up the board. Now, the same way is set up the board for each thing. So you should set up the board like this. If you're playing on white, then your queen should be on the white space and your king should be on the black space. Your queen should be on E8. Your king should be on D8, or they should be on D1 for the king. No, if you're playing white on the other side, it's going to be D1 for the king and E1 for the queen. Okay, so make sure it looks like that. So the king is always on the opposing team side. So if you're playing white, the king is on that black space right there. So set up the board how I set it up. This is classic chess. It's not fancy or anything. It doesn't have any like fancy type of pieces. This is how the real chess pieces are supposed to look. So all 8 pawns of yours in the front, okay? Rooks in the back, knights next to the rooks, bishops next to the king and queen. So you should get something that looks like this. And the only thing that's different with black side is obviously it's a different color and it's such a different side. And finally, the queen and king are facing different ways. So the black one should be on the white side and the black queen should be on the black one because the black is their team. So the queen goes on the black one. And the white is the opposing team. So the king goes on the white. So you're going to do the exact same way that the board was set up earlier. I'm going to do that real quick. Speed this up to 2 times because this actually might take a little. Now, after this, we're going to get to the basics. Now, depending on what side you play, you can choose who goes first, but if you're playing real chess, then white is supposed to go first. So, first way that you can play. The pieces that you can move are any of your pawns or the knights. Now, the knights move in an L shape, and the pawns move straight, and if there's a kill that you want to kill, they move diagonal. So, let's say that you wanted to move the knight first. Now, here's a quick tip. Never move on the edge unless it's completely necessary. Because if you actually move on the edge, then your knight has less places that it can move, and it's going to have to do this and then start actually moving to places. So when you want to move your knight, then you have to go this. See, that's an L, and the knight can jump over the pieces. Only piece that can jump over pieces is the knight. That's a jumping, and that's an L. So 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. So that's the first move. Now, like I said, only piece that can jump over is the knight. So if you try to make any other piece jump over like the knight just did, that's not possible. Now let's learn about the rook. The rook can move straight or sideways. Oh, by the way, the knight is worth 3 points in material. The heck? Whatever. The rook is worth 5 points in material. So, we'll move the knight here. And on the pawns, only on the first move, The pawns is the only piece that can move differently on the first move and the second move. And obviously to kill. So kill diagonal, and all the rest of the times go straight. So you cannot move diagonal unless there's a kill that is not your piece. So the pawns can move only 2 spaces, 1, 2, on the first move if you want to. The rest of the game, they only move 1. So that is what's with every single pawn. Opposing side, black side, white side, the A7 pawn, the B7 pawn, the B2 pawn, every single pawn it opposes. That you can move 2 spaces on the first move. Diagonal to kill, that is not your own piece. In the real game, you can't kill any pieces. So, you cannot kill any of your pieces. Unless you want to have a high chance of losing. So, let's say we move to knight C6. Okay? So, from B8, we move to C6. So, in the real game, that means K C6. So, to say that the knight moved to C6, K C6. That's how it is. Because the knight is spelled K-N-I-G-H-T. So K for knight and C6, because we moved to C6. C6. That's C6. So now it's black's turn to move. Let's say they move this pawn too. Now, is that a good move? Not really, for what I think. Because the knight can move in L's, and it takes out that piece. So that pawn is dead. But now they have an opening. For which piece? For all of you people that actually know how to play chess. Which piece is opened? Obviously not. Obviously this was open, this would open, this would open. But which piece is now opened? The bishop. The bishop can move diagonally across the board unless you're in a check. And we'll get to check later. But let's say the bishop moved here. So now the knight's in trouble because the bishop next move can take out that knight. So the knight moves back in an L. Now it's on this side. So now it's a bit worse. But the bishop moves here. It cannot move here or here or here. If it wants to be taken out, then it can move there. But if it moves here, then knight takes it out. If it moves here, then knight takes it out. If it moves here, the pawn takes it out. So, the bishop cannot move anywhere except for these two. So it can retreat, but in real games, you shouldn't retreat. You should stay with that developed piece. So, let's say, well, we don't have to say because it literally is black's turn. I'm dumb. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. But let's say black wanted to move the knight here. So, the bishop, we know, moves diagonal. Unless that diagonal thing is in a check. A check is when your king is targeted by any piece and can be taken out. A checkmate is when you win the game. A checkmate is when your king is targeted by a piece, but it cannot move anywhere. A stalemate is when the king cannot move anywhere, but it is not in check. So it's not a checkmate. It's a stalemate, which is a draw for the game. So be careful. You might need to know these tips when you get a bit older to make a check or a checkmate, or when you know that you're gonna lose and you can't win. You might as well just start a draw and make sure that your king has nowhere to move, but it's not in check. So that's a draw. So let's move on to how next pieces work. We're not playing a game yet. We're showing you how the pieces work. So we have the whole board to ourselves. That was magnetic. Okay, whatever. But yeah. So we have the whole board. Now, the queen. The strongest piece in the game it is worth 9 material points. The bishop was worth 3, like the knight. This is worth 9 material points. Go there. So it's a rook and a bishop combined. So this is how the rook can move, as I showed you earlier. Straight lines, up and down, and side to side. Okay? So that's side to side, and that's up and down. And it can move like the bishop. So, diagonal. Diagonal and up and down. So this is the strongest piece in chess. Let's say that you are in a pin. Now, you might be thinking, what the heck is a pin, Arjun? Let's show you. Let's say, how about a rook? Well, we need a king in the game, so there has to be a king. That's check. Because look, how is this check? How is that check again? The queen, it can move diagonal to take out the king. So right now the king is being targeted. Right now the king is being targeted. So we're gonna have to put it there. Now it's not being targeted because the queen can't move in a rook and a bishop at the same time. Now, this is a pin. That's a pin. Now you see, what is a pin? So let's see, it was black's turn. Check. Now, this is a check, right? The king is being targeted by what piece? The rook. So this is check. So the king can be taken out next round. So that's check. So the queen is the only thing that can move. So let's say that the king can't move there or there or there or there or there or there. Because obviously this is the D row. So this is the D row. It's an open file. So the king cannot move up here, or it cannot move down here. Or it cannot move there or there. Because it's an open file and it will stay in check. So the queen moves here. Now the rook is pinning the queen to the thing. Now, pinning is the perfect word for this. So the rook is the can I even find it? I didn't stop recording good. The rook is the pin. It's a random paper I found. It's a Lanky Box sticker. The rook is the pin. The queen is the paper. Damn, that hurts. Ooh, I might need to get a Band-Aid for real quick. Okay, so the rook is the pin. The paper is the queen. As you can see, rook is pinned at the paper. So the rook is pinned to the queen. So the queen is pinned on right now. And the wall, or where you're going to hang up the pin, is the king. So let's say I'm just hanging this up at the wall. So this is the king. That's a pin. Rook, queen, king. That's a pin. So, if the queen moves anywhere, the king will be in check. If the king moves, then it's fine. That's a pin. So now we learned about the queen. We learned about the rook. We learned about the knight. We also learned about the bishop. And finally, we learned about the pawn. Now, where the heck can the king move? Oh, it could probably move so many places. Because if you get the king out, you're done. No, it's the worst. No, not the worst. The pawn is the worst. Actually, no, I'll teach you one thing about the pawn that makes it one of the best pieces in the game. You have a king right here, right? Yeah, the king can move in so many places, right? Wrong. The king can move in one of these 9 spots. Or 8 spots surrounding it. So in this 8-box square, it can move. Unless there's a check in one of those squares. See this knight? We confirmed that the knight can move in an L earlier. So, the king moves here. It's targeted by this piece. So this move is absolutely illegal. So, it can move there. Or, it started there. It can move there. Okay. It can move there. It can move there. It can move there, 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 there. So, anywhere that is not a check, the king can move in this 8 box. There and there. So now you know how the king can move and how all the pieces can move, all the other pieces. Now, one of the final things to know about chess until we start playing a game. I don't know any openings. So, yeah. One thing about the game. Pawn. Obviously, on the first move, it can move 2 spots. Right here. 1 spot away. Right now it is on D2. And when it moves up to D1, then it can do something. Now, so this is the board. Pretend all the pieces are here and some pieces are out of the game. So pretend the pawn's not the only piece there. You won't really be needing that, but in the real game, the pawn is not going to be the only piece there. There's definitely going to be a king, or the pawn can't even move because the game ended a while ago, whenever the king got out. So, and there should be that pawn's king, but here it is. Now, I'm done playing with that pin. Yeah, I'm done playing with that pin. We're gonna move 1 up. Arjun, that's the end of the board. It started here, 2, 1, 1, 1, and 1. It's the end of the board. Where can it move anymore? There's no piece over here because that's out of the board. So what does the pawn do? The pawn turns into any taken out piece. Or if your queen is still there, some chess sets come with extra queens or extra pieces. And that's the reason. Also if you lose a piece. But that's the main reason. The pawn gets the end of the board. So let's say you were losing this game badly, and White has so many pieces and stuff like that. Let's check. White has so many pieces and stuff like that, and all this and that, and this dilly-dally stuff. Okay, so where's the king? The king has to be here, over here. All this dilly-dally stuff, and you don't have as much material as White. Oh, by the way. All the pieces material I'll announce at the end of this video. So, you don't have as much material as White. So, what do? Your pawn reaches the end of the board. Promote your pawn to any piece. Now, a lot of people, including me, not including me over here, they promote the pawn to the queen every single time. I don't do that. I promote the pawn to the... What? I promote the pawn to the queen most of the times. Not all the time, but let's say that the king is right here. Is that a check? No, it's not a check. So, the king is right there. And I'm like, oh, I have an idea. Let's make it a queen. No. And, yeah, whatever. But, the queen. No. Do you see where the king is? It is in an L shape. The pawn can become anything except for the king, because he can't get 2 lives. But it's an L shape. Now, let's try to remember which piece can actually move in an L. The knights. Check. Let's take off all of Black's pieces. Let's take these out. Now, let's say black is right here, and the rook is right there. That, okay. Now, let me fix this real quick. Okay, let me do something real quick. No. Okay, so the king is right here. It's in check. Only space it can move is there. I am absolutely dumb. Okay. Only space it can move is there. Oh, urgent. The stalemate. It can move there, so. Yeah, I already cleared that out a bunch of times. It can move there. This, she promoted to a queen. I don't have a queen, so let's say this is black. What the heck is the queen gonna do? You can checkmate your opponent right here and now. And what piece is it with? You can't promote back to a pawn unless you really want a pawn. You want to go back to a pawn, but you can't because then where the heck are you gonna go? To the knight. What shape is this? An L. That is checkmate. The end of the game. Is it? That's checked by this. That's checked by that. There, it is not checked by anything. Okay, so if it moves there. I tricked y'all. It's checked by this. There, what is it checked by? Here's a little question for you. What is it checked by? Let's see if I've actually taught you good stuff. I don't really know if you can see this. It's magnetic, so hopefully I can just... Now you can see. What is it checked by? The answer is the rook right here. What if it moves there? There. Okay, how about there? There. That's nothing except for that. So, that is checkmate. King cannot move anywhere. And it's in check, so it's not stalemate. This is checking it. That is checking it. So it is not a stalemate, it is a checkmate. It's in check, and it has nowhere to move. This is a stalemate. It can't move in any of these spaces, and I literally just showed you why. But there, it can move there, so say that was there, actually. Now this row is all dead because of this. It's an open file. This is dead. Is this dead? That's killed. That's where it started. So that, there, that open file, there, that. So you can't move anywhere. Is it in check? Let's find a piece that it's checking, that it's checked by. None. So, it is not checked by any piece whatsoever that is a stalemate. So stalemate happens right here. That's a draw between white and black. So that's my hardest I can do. I don't know anything else to tell you. You can have questions in the comment section. If you have extra questions, tell me in the comment section below, and I will answer them in the replies. So thanks for watching. Bye. Okay, it's not clicking. Now, remember at the start of the video, I said finally it's clicking. Something's going on with the iPad that's making it not click. Oh. One sec, guys. Oh, come on.